And welcome everyone. Thank you very much for joining me today on my Wednesday podcast show. This is going to be a weekly occurrence. I'm going to be getting a variety of guests on. I've got Jay on. He's already been on. If you're an OG of the channel, you know you'll recognise his voice. But thank you very much, mate, for coming on.
Yeah, no problems, anytime.
Yeah, we're going to be getting a whole host of guests on as well, Skype call-ins and that. But everyone, thank you for tuning in. We've got a variety of topics, really. We're going to be talking about Liverpool. Jay will run through what we've got down. But firstly, if you tune in every Wednesday, you send in the talking points in which you want us to be talking about anyway. That's going to be a regular occurrence on the Wednesday shows anyway. So you make the debate, get involved in the comment section below. And if anyone has any questions, make sure to drop a like on the comment section below. So if there's any comments that you do like on other people asking questions, but you will be setting the debates and we'll go through every single one of you, the key and the best comments really. So Jay, could you read through some of the talking points we'll be talking about today?
Yeah, just the first one will obviously be the West Ham review, the score, things like that. Second one will be Crystal Palace preview. Third one for us is the impact of our new signings that we've had, so Shaqiri, Alisson, Keita and Fabinho. Fourth one is one that I think could be discussed about in a lot more shows, and that's the transfer window in general.
Yeah.
Fifth, I've got another point of a title race. Not just the title race, but the top four in the relegation battle.
Yeah, that sounds.
The fifth one, this one's just a little bit of a funny one. It's a managerial sack race.
Yeah.
Who's in line to get sacked first?
Mourinho.
And the last one is domestic trophies.
Yeah, debating whether Liverpool deemed, will it be a failure? If Liverpool do not win any trophies, so we can round off the episode with that anyway. I think that'll be a good one, really, to get everyone stuck in terms of that. But really, do you want to just start? We'll talk about the first talking point, mate. I get your thoughts really, because I haven't I've spoke to you yet, but not on the show. In terms of the West Ham performance, were you very impressed by the lads on Sunday?
Yeah and no.
Yeah and no.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, because I think it's a brilliant start to the season. Obviously, winning the game 4-0, you couldn't ask for anything better. But no, I think we've got more in the tank.
More in the tank. Yeah. We did miss a variety of chances, especially in that first half. I think I remembered Mohamed Salah. It was that Trent free kick as well. Yeah. But we did, a couple of us and a lot of Liverpool fans we've talked on this channel with all the subscribers. We didn't really get out of second gear, did we?
No.
There was so many gears I think a lot of us we can get out of. But it's impressive. I think it was good to get the 3 points down very early on. How many times have we come into a season and we haven't really performed, especially at home? It could have been an easy 0-0 or something, but it's great to see that energy from the lads are really coming out of the blocks all gun-ho. So any key players? There was a lot of key performances, but for you personally, mate, it's who were you impressed by, and who do you think there's going to be a lot more to come from in terms of the season?
I was impressed by Naby Keita. I thought his midfield performance was the dominant one. He's one of them sort of midfielders where 9 out of 10 of the times he'll get the ball and he'll shimmy, look for the pass and play that pass. Yeah. But play it quickly. And then there's one out of 10 times where he will make defenders foul him because he'll look to play that pass and just cut on the other side and just go. Yeah. I think was it in the first half where he got the ball at his feet and he just ran past 3 or 4 of them into the box, and then Gini put the shot wide. Yeah. But in terms of improvement, I think Trent Alexander-Arnold didn't play that well.
When I went to match, and you probably watched it on the telly, mate. He was very frustrated with himself, and I loved the way in which he come back so early on in pre-season. Him and Henderson were due to come back when Henderson come back. But Trent, he come back a lot earlier. Obviously, he said that was mainly back due to his age. He could come back a lot earlier than Henderson because he's 19 and 20, 18, 20. It's ridiculous how young he is anyway, but it's great to see that hunger. He's a Scouser anyway. He's one of us in terms of that, but he's got a... it's scary. Like, if the bench level, he set the bench mark from last season.
Yeah.
Youngest, possibly could have been the youngest, one of the youngest ever Champions League winners. But this season, I think he's got all that experience in the tank of last season.
He's got to kick on a bit more.
Wow. He's going to get every season that goes on. Hopefully, he's going to be Liverpool's right back for the next 10, 15 years for a long time. But he didn't really perform that well. He was possibly didn't play badly, but it was a couple of times where he did switch off. As he said.
I think that was just down to the fact of lack of pre-season action though for him, wasn't it? You know, obviously being the World Cup.
Yeah.
When the World Cup was on, we were kicking off our pre-season, so that's fair enough. But I would have possibly just maybe gone, do you know what? I'll play Klein there just for this first game to give Trent a bit of an extra rest and bring him in for Palace.
Yeah.
Well, that's my opinion.
Were you made up with Joe Gomez's performances really? Because for me, like I was speaking to you, I was like, oh my god, who would gonna play centre back?
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, Joe Gomez might be fit. And then for some reason, I read somewhere that report supposedly that he was saying he might be injured or he might not be fully 100% fit. And I was like, when a game happened on Sunday, I was like, thank the Lord.
Yeah.
He was fully fit anyway. But I think his performance was amazing.
I think he played well, yeah. What we had to deal with, which wasn't much, there's no disrespect to West Ham there, but what we had to deal with defensive-wise, we dealt with.
Arnautovic.
Yeah, Arnautovic looked like a handful of times, but there was a few times where Alisson was called into action. I was thinking, here we go again when he played that pass to the West Ham player.
Yeah. It's the thing when you get those ball playing goalies. Yeah. I think there's a lot of Liverpool fans, me in particular, and you. Yeah. Our heart is in our mouths when you see any keeper in terms of, because it's not natural. But I think in the English game now it's become a lot more evident, really, in terms of the stats. I think I've seen something on Sky Sports. The amount of passes per goalkeeper every single season, on average, in the Premier League has gone up by like 5 to 10 over the last 10 years. So the movement towards a Spanish type of ball playing, in terms of like the ball playing goalkeepers mainly, we've had like the centre backs. It used to be, since the Pep Guardiola and everyone's coming to the Premier League, the goalkeepers now are getting asked to very much play round the back and start the play. In terms of, if you do play from the back, you're less likely to lose possession, aren't you? I think coaches, that's why they do like to play it round the back, mate. But Alisson, I think some of the distribution, I think, are you made up with his distribution, which is one of his key aspects in which we brought him into the football club. But in terms of an attacking play, can you see that being a big boost for Liverpool going into this season? Yeah,
I think, obviously, like you said, in terms of his distribution, it's top notch. And if at any point in the season we're losing a game or we're drawing a game and we need that goal, he's the sort of keeper which can get the ball in his hands and just play a quick pass straight away to one of the wingers. Whereas Mignolet or Karius, they'd hold the ball up and let everyone get out, which would slow time down for us.
He's a big lad as well, and he just to conclude, like, when you look at him, I think him and Virgil van Dijk, I think I talked about yesterday in my show. Virgil van Dijk's been very impressed in terms of his vocal, like the vocal aspect of him, which is great. And I don't know if that was not a sly dig at the goalies that we have had in the goal, but I think he likes that as a personality. When you hear him on the telly screaming at the old Carragher-esque, scream at the defence, he keeps it basic. But it's great that those two can hopefully. It seems like they've already touched wood. They've already got a good partnership in terms of, because you need a goalkeeper and your defence to be at one, like the same exact thinking. Because we've seen in the past, sometimes over the seasons, Mignolet would come out for crosses really, and absolutely flap at it and fall to the opposition strikers, and they bang one in. Well, so what do you reckon, mate?
In terms of what happened on Sunday, I think it's a start. Yeah. Hopefully we can get better, but we can't get too ahead of ourselves. Yeah,
I think game by game, really. Yeah. It's great that we've got the 3 points. Palace, which we'll talk about in a little second, really. But I made up, mate. I done a West Ham preview of Irons United. Absolutely loved it, and I said 4-0. I didn't put anyone on it. Not a gambling, but I'm rubbish at betting anyway. But like, in terms of that, I expected it. Not in a cocky way, but all of us have seen Liverpool perform over the last 12 months.
Yeah.
And the players we brought in, we've spent money, regardless. It's about time we spent money in the right areas.
Yeah.
That's the thing I love about Jurgen. He identifies these players and he's building this big, massive jigsaw. Yeah. And hopefully by the end of it, it wins the Premier League trophy.
Yeah.
Whether it's this year, hopefully this year, or next year. But we've seen a vast improvement in terms of performance rating. I think a lot of people, I've spoke to people on this channel, I spoke to you and Everton. We had Roy Hodgson, Kenny Dalglish, no discredit to them, but there wasn't really performance consistency level in terms of us being confident as fans and looking at a team and like, right, yeah, we can do bits. Yeah. We can at least be in contention. But I think with this team now, as we'll speak about Kevin De Bruyne later, if you haven't heard the news, keep tuned for that. In terms of him coming out and a lot of other opposition, top managers and top players, they look at Liverpool and they're like, when Jose, we all know what Jose thinks about Liverpool. It's not very nice. But yeah, they're all admiring the business Liverpool have done. They're like, Liverpool have been clever. You've gone out and got a top class centre back last year. Needed it since Carragher and Sammy Appiah in the back. Goalkeeper, biggest highlight, regardless of the Champions League, whatever happened there. I think it was always going to be a position that was questioned, regardless of whatever happened in the Champions League final. That was a weak position. Cadiz was showing great form in the Premier League, but in terms of getting big players, when I mean big players, Alisson had one good season in Roma, but he's the Brazilian national team first choice, and you don't become the Brazilian first choice national goalkeeper by luck. It's by something, the management structure of Brazil and at Roma. They see something in this lad, and he's only 25 years old, the exact same age as Karius, and we've paid that huge fee regardless. But if he's your goalkeeper for the next 15 years and you've got him to about 40 and he's won a whole host of Premier League titles or Champions League, hopefully, fingers crossed, that is a great investment, because if you pay it like 5 million a year over the space of that, it's not too bad, is it, mate? No. But it was a great performance. For you, we talked about Trent, he needs to improve, but the overall team performance, I think that was one of the key things that come out of the game, mate. And we'll talk about the Palace game where we can very much but we'll go on to the next debate, mate, as you wrote down.
Yeah, just going that. It's just one thing I want to touch up on the West Ham review. Obviously, you went to a few league home games last year.
Yeah.
Do you think the atmosphere for the league games now is getting a lot better in Anfield than what it was?
Yeah, I think, I don't know if I mentioned it. You probably watched my video, mate. I did mention it.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. It was weird, in a weird good way. I sat there, and there was people sat behind me. I was in the Kenny Dalglish stand, and usually over the last couple of years, it's not been the best in a Premier League. Even though the Cop is amazing, but in terms of the actual all four stands getting involved, if that happens like we do in Europe and we can convert that to the Premier League, I think that's going to be the biggest switch. Because I remember when we were running up close with Rodgers in the league, we were greeting the bus and that, there was excitement there. But I think every single one of us realises now, this can be the year. I know everyone just takes the mickey out of it,
every year,
but it's a confidence. We're confident in our team.
Yeah.
We've got the three biggest forwards in the European game with our three. Yeah. We should be proud of our team when we've got these players now, not when they leave. Obviously, we want to keep our players, but regardless of, we should be winning trophies. But in terms of the atmospheres, as you just mentioned there, mate, I think there has been a vast improvement, and I think that'll get even better by game. It helps when you're winning football matches and when you're performing on the pitch. But I think, and I hope, I think a lot of fans in that stadium, even in majority of all the stands, wherever you're sitting, we do know now this can be, if everyone pulls in the right direction. Yeah, Jurgen's doing his business and
the players are doing theirs.
Yeah, and it's up to the fans now. That could be the last bit of push if we give it the players, especially at home, because we need to win every single game.
Yeah.
Last season, we had far too many draws at home. I think it was like 11 or 12 draws in the Premier League. I'm not too sure, was it 6 at home?
I think so.
Around that figure. That's ridiculous. In terms of challenging, wanting to challenge, that's where the big teams don't drop points at home anyway. But I think that'll be the key difference.
Right, we'll move on to the next one, which is the Crystal Palace preview. Just touch on this because obviously you'll be doing your own.
Yeah, no, Simon. Made up to get on your thoughts.
Just, I think, obviously the way that Trent played on Sunday. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's Wednesday today. The way Trent played on Sunday, I think there was just still a little bit more there. Like he needs more match time before he's at his full best again.
Yeah.
I personally think the way that Zaha, the speed that Zaha's got, the trickery that Zaha's got, I'd put Klein in there, or I'd maybe if we got a fit centre back.
Virgil van Dijk and Gomez is fine. In terms of, I don't know what's happening with Raggy. Yeah, I think he might be trying to get out the club anyway, but he should be sound. I'm just going to get the Crystal Palace lineup from that one against Fulham.
Yeah.
If we're looking at it now, this is obviously the Fulham team, but Crystal Palace played with a 4-4-2 by the looks of it last weekend with Benteke, Zaha leading the line. Anyway, you got Jeffrey Schlupp, the old Leicester City, and then you got McCarthy, Milinkovic, and then Townsend from the right.
Yeah.
And then you've got Patrick Van Aanholt, Sacco. Look who's at centre back there. Sacco, Tompkins.
And Wan-Bissaka.
Wan-Bissaka. I'm happy you said that, mate, because I could not pronounce that. And then Hennessy. By all accounts, in terms of what everyone said from on Match of the Day and everything, Hennessy had a fantastic game. He was one of their key performances, really. But if you're looking at that, I'm looking at Liverpool's midfield. We'd outrun that. If you look at McCarthy and that.
Where Kearney is there,
you'd
be playing someone like Milner. Where McDonald is, you maybe bring in someone like... This is for
Fulham anyway, that's how they lined up, didn't they?
Where McDonald is, you might bring someone like Fabinho, so if then, when we defend, you can move to 5 at the back.
Yeah.
And then where Seri is, you'd bring someone in like Keita.
Yeah, because if you're not aware, that's Fulham went up with a 4-3-3, so that is very much like the way in which Liverpool should look to set up our formation. But just look at the bench. Have you got any? No. Oh yeah. So Palace have got over on the bench from last week. He brought on Koita, Soloff. Completely butchered that, but number 9, Joe Ward, Papa Square. Obviously, they're left back. Martin Kelly, but they mainly are their main threats, really.
Yeah.
But if you look at Crystal Palace's 2 key men, I think that's where the danger area is going to possibly come from.
And
Christian.
Maybe Townsend and Benteke. I think Benteke is not dangerous if he's on his own, but if the balls are whipped into the box for him, with him playing for Liverpool in the past, we know how dangerous he can be in the air.
Yeah.
I think one advantage we're going to have is if we attack Sacco, because we know obviously when Sacco played for Liverpool,
Bambi on ice.
Yeah, when opposing teams targeted Sacco, there were so many mistakes in there. Yeah, so many fouls which led to free kicks or penalties. So I think obviously with Firmino being former teammates as well, if he can get the better of Sacco, it pulls Tompkins across, and for me Tompkins isn't that good.
He's not that quick, is he, in terms of
Wan-Bissaka and Patrick Van Aanholt have got to have the games of their career to stop them.
Yeah, like Van Aanholt, I really do rate the lads. Yeah. From attacking wise, he gets a lot of goals last season.
For me, and from what I've heard from Palace fans, is attacking wise, he's like Moreno. He's good attacking.
Yeah, defensively,
but he can't defend if he's coming up against good players.
Jeffrey Schlupp and Townsend, I don't know what they're like defensively, but when I've watched them, the Palace, I think they're very comfortable. They've got Roy Hodgson as manager, haven't they, anyway, Mr. Owl. They'd be very much happy to hit us on the counter-attack, but they have got the pace out wide. I think the left wing-back and right wing-back, Townsend's got pace, Schlupp's got pace. Zaha, so they're very much set up in terms of an attacking point of view to very much hit us on the break, but I'm very confident. If you look at that midfield from Crystal Palace, Schlupp, McCarthy, and Milivojevic. Sorry. And then Andy Townsend. So they're obviously they're playing a 4-4-2. Yeah. But if you're looking at our midfield and the way in which we got around that West Ham, I think we've personally got too many quick and decisive attacking players. Obviously, if we do drop Fabinho in for that game, I think that would be very much a game to really get him in, due to the height of Benteke and the height of Tompkins, height of Sacco. They've got big lads there, Crystal Palace, and I think that would be very much a...
What I think will also happen is I think he'll bring Fabinho into the midfield three, but because obviously Zaha and Townsend like to run down the wings, I think what you should do defensive-wise is to keep up with Zaha, have the strength and pace on Zaha. You put Virgil next to whoever's at right back, and you put Gomez next to whoever's at left back. When they then decide to come inside, or when it goes to 2-on-1 defensive-wise, Fabinho can slot into centre-half then.
Yeah, because if you look at the way this is, Zaha would be attacking in terms of he's coming from the left-hand side, so we'd be very much looking at Trent. Trent and obviously Gomez in terms of right attacking.
But I'd swap Gomez and Virgil van Dijk around.
Yeah.
The reason being is Van Dijk will have the height and the speed with Zaha, and then on the other side, Gomez is going to have the strength on Benteke.
Yeah.
And also Robertson will have the pace with Townsend.
Yeah. It's exciting. It's an exciting thing, mate.
Yeah.
But for me, and everyone get involved in terms of how you see Liverpool combating against this Palace. That's why I love football, and there's going to be different managers in the way in which they combat against tactics and everything. But for me, if you look the way Fulham, as obviously as you can see there, everyone, but when we're looking at it, that's how Fulham set up in a 4-3-3. That's how we usually set up in terms of ours. For them, Fulham last week, they had Ryan Sessegnon, very much a very tricky winger, and by all accounts, the statistics very much speak for themselves. Fulham had 67% of the ball, and that's going to be exactly like Liverpool. So Palace, if you look at it in terms of the statistics from last week, even with 33% of the possession, they still got 12 shots off and 10 shots on target. So they're very happy for Liverpool to have the ball. And I think, and you just have to look at Fulham's stats here, 15 with 6 shots on target with 67% of the ball. But that's Liverpool. If you convert those to Liverpool's, it's quality-wise. I don't think Palace would be doing at all anything like that against Liverpool in terms of their statistics. That is frightening, and that's why possession means absolutely nothing in football. 33 possession, that's like a game of FIFA. But they still want 2-0. Palace, you got Jeffrey Slupp scoring just before half-time, and Wilfried Zaha scoring on the 79th minute anyway, but it's going to be very interesting. Pass accuracy, so it'll come down to really taking the opportunities, mate, and
taking the chances,
I think we should have enough.
We should do.
Yeah, definitely. But it's not to be over too confident, because Crystal Palace, they are our bogey team. One of many in the Premier League, mate.
West Ham was.
Yeah, definitely. Recently. But I think in terms of what your final thoughts on in terms of what we should do against Palace?
I think we should just do what we normally do. Go out and play how we normally play. We shouldn't play different, if you get me. We shouldn't decide, you know what, this is going to be a tough game, we'll sit back. We'll let our opponents change the way that they play to come and suit us. However, I do think it is going to be a tough game against Palace. I think there's obviously a few threats that we need to look out for, in the likes of being Zaha, Townsend, Benteke, but in terms of score prediction, I'm going to say 3-0. 3-0.
There we go, everyone. Keep an eye on my predictions here. You could be a very rich man by the end of the weekend if last week's was to go on it. I think we might concede, only because of due to the physicality presence. I think West Ham were not at the races at the weekend.
West Ham obviously came with a game plan just to frustrate us, sit back and...
Even though, that's what you would have thought. They did for a bit of the game. But Pellegrini, his tactics were ridiculous. I was, even when I was speaking to the lads at Lions United, they were very surprised by the way in which they set up. They would have expected West Ham to very much sit back, and I think this is going to be the case of what Palace do at the weekend. Palace is very much absorb the pressure, but it's when they do switch on the afterburners in terms of their attacking play. Yeah, but they were surprised by how much West Ham attacked Liverpool, and that fed into our hands. Absolutely. It was spot on from our tactical point of view. But key players, well, let's round off. Who do you see from a Liverpool point of view very much getting at that Palace team that we did talk about? To conclude, which areas of the pitch do you reckon? Could be one.
If they set up
come Monday.
If they set up like they did against Fulham with
4-4-2,
flat back four, flat four in midfield, and two up top, I think it's going to be one of them where you're going to win it is potentially set pieces.
Yeah.
Because I know obviously people will look and go, we've got Keita, we've got Milner in midfield, we've got the front three, but if we're outnumbered in midfield, we've got to be solid defensive wise, and when we get our chances, we have to create our chances. I think though, like I said before, Van Aanholt and Wan-Bissaka, sorry, that's a name to pronounce. It's hard to pronounce.
Right, you're spot on there, mate. I'd rather you said that than everyone.
They've got to be on top form, I think, because you're seeing it plenty of times last season away from home. You can attack us as much as you want. One click of a finger, and it's 1-0 Liverpool.
Yeah, I think that's the time now. But I think, in terms of just conclude on the Palace, mate, if you're playing a 4-4-2, Liverpool very much do tend to play very narrow.
Yeah.
Only when our wing backs, obviously Trent and Robbo, do come in. I think you look at them with a 4-4-2, you've got very much a lot of overlapping happening from that Palace team. But with our pace, our left back and right back do tend to that they provide our width in terms of the team. But when you look at that Palace team, they can very much hit us on the counter attack. Say if Robbo or Trent are out of position, hide up the pitch. I think that's when the beauty. From a Palace point of view, you can very much get at Liverpool, because I mentioned the West Ham lads. Pace, and when we're on the attack, and in terms of counter-attacking, like we did, you watched the Dortmund game, didn't you?
Yeah.
In pre-season, when Pulisic absolutely teared us up one. That's when we can become a bit vulnerable. But if you don't do it properly in terms of an opposition team, you can get very much damaged, absolutely battered. Anyway, mate. But I will go for, you went with, was it 4-0 or 3-0? 3-0. 3-0. I'm going to think about it, Jack. I will go with a 2-1 Liverpool. A 2-1, everyone. I think I'd want us to keep a clean sheet, but it'll be a very difficult game. And hopefully we do get a lot of goals. But in terms of the way in which Palace do set up and play their football, it's a tricky way. I'm feeling very confident that we'll get a win. But in terms of what way it could go, Palace, I think if we can get this hoodoo, if we can beat Palace and get that, I think that would be a huge realisation for every single one of us, really. That would be a huge
way off the shoulder.
A huge 3 points, really, because you've come and combated against a West Ham team that can be tricky, very physical. But I think with Palace, they'll very much bring a bigger physical presence in terms of that, mate. But 2-1, everyone. Everyone, leave me your predictions as well. Your thoughts on where you think Liverpool can hit the Crystal Palace team, and where potentially Liverpool can get asked questions. Leave them in the comment section below, everyone. But mate, we'll go on to the next talking point.
Next point I've got down is the impact our 4 new signings have had. So Shaqiri, Fabinho, Keita, Alisson. And do you think potentially in January do we need to reinvest anywhere?
Yeah, I'll ask you, mate. I think I've spoke to, like, not too much, but I've spoken a bit on. I want to get your thoughts, and everyone else's, leave them in the comment section below.
With Alisson, it's a major upgrade. No offense to Karius, but obviously with what was happening with Karius, not just in the Champions League final but pre-season, I think that did affect him, and I think Klopp's done the right thing and bought a better keeper. Shaqiri's a brilliant option off the bench. I don't think Shaqiri will start as many games as possible, which is where it could potentially blow over for him. Yeah. Because he's a sort of player that will want to come into a club and compete for starting 11. Yeah. In terms of, obviously, we didn't see Fabinho at the weekend, which we thought was a bit disappointing. I thought maybe you had the chance, instead of bringing Henderson on, maybe bring Fabinho on for his debut. Yeah. Naby Keita, though,
speaks for himself. He starts off the show.
Player.
Listen, like I've talked about, are you surprised at how... Not, he's obviously only played one game, but when you did see highlights of him at RB Leipzig, what I love, and I don't know, how do you feel the same, is like how quick he is over the first 5 to 10 yards. Just like, he's like that. Like bang, 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 bang. Like he's in your face. You'd hate to play against him. I'd definitely hate to play against him. I'm not too quick over the first 5 yards. But I love him, and I think he's going to be the huge swing in the pedestal in terms of the season. Yeah. If you did look at Liverpool's midfield last season in Champions League, yeah, we played fantastic, and in the Premier League, but we did miss that, especially when Phil went. Phil would bang one in from 30 yards or something, but he'd always be that player that would take it upon himself to actually get at players. Yeah. I think Naby Keita, with the way in which he plays football, he can be defending, do a nice slide tackle outside the box, and within 15, 20 seconds, he'll be up the other end and score from outside the box. Yeah. Like, I think he's the classic number 8 in terms of, it's very rare, especially in the Premier League, that we've seen a player like that in a very, very long time. Naby Kante, in terms of his defensive, I'm not comparing Naby and Kante to similar defensive areas, but the way in which Kante plays his football, he's very much in the mould of him. But it's going to be I can't wait, mate. I honestly can't wait. And obviously, you've become his biggest fan boy already anyway, but I think a lot of us have.
I think, obviously, when we first signed him, I was thinking, don't be one of these players where we sign and spend so much money on it. It turns out to be a flop. But just touching on him as well, he's a versatile player. Obviously, you went to the game when, he brought Henderson on?
And, he played left wing or like
he went over to left wing or left, whatever it is now. And he's still finding them passes through. So it's versatility, and that could well be a key point for us in the coming games. If we need something just a little bit more creative out left,
you've got that option as well. Especially if Mane does. No, I'm not saying it. If something did happen to Mane, touch wood, it's not happening, everyone. Sorry. But you've got those options, obviously, because apart from right wing with Shaqiri, obviously Klopp doesn't really want to use him out wide. He very much sees him as an attacking mid, like we seen when we played against United in the friendly in America.
And what happened there, United?
And but I think Shaqiri, and I think when I spoke to the West Ham fans, to Bayern United, and a lot of when it's been speaking to a variety of people, he's an absolute bargain. 12 million, 13 million pounds for Stoke's best player, and especially in today's market, regardless if it's from Stoke. But he's a lad that he has got potential. He hasn't, from a personal point of view, hasn't delivered from the teams he has been. But the players, Everton set up for him at Liverpool. I think this is the time. It's come for a time now. I think, don't know if he's 26, 27.
27. I think he's like 26.
He's in prime years, isn't he, to really develop as a player. And you've seen that, and I think a lot of every single one of you have seen that picture where the vine of him looking at Klopp at how happy he is. Yeah. He's like a kid in a sweet shop. He's made up to see, and when he's looking around the dressing room, no discredit to Stoke, but it's about 10 times the level and standard of players.
You've seen it at the weekend as well, when Klopp went to bring him on, and Klopp, he turns around and goes over to Klopp and gives him a massive hug before coming on.
Cheers, Gaffer. We've probably been on this channel. How much protein do you reckon he has? Like, he's an absolute tank, mate, isn't he?
I know, yeah.
He does love his dinner anyway, but have you seen the size of his brother, Shaqiri? His brother is even bigger than him, mate.
What?
Yeah.
Isn't his brother like his agent or something?
Yeah, I think he must obviously do a lot in terms of fitness with Shaqiri, his brother. He looks like a fitness trainer or something. Yeah. That's where his physique does come from. In terms of the size of his muscles, in terms of his mass, Shaqiri, when he has got injured, it's mainly due to how big he is as a player. Yeah. He's very much the same height as me, but I need some chicken dinners down. But his calves are very much why, and sometimes when he has done it Bayern and Inter, because his muscles are that big, you're more susceptible to get injured, aren't you? Do your hamstring or something. But Shaqiri, for Naby and Alisson we spoke about in depth. But Fabinho, I think to conclude on him, mate, I think he's going to have a...
I think he'll grow into the team, but I think just he looks a bit out of depth at the moment. I don't know whether that's because he's coming in directly into a new league, and or whether it's just the fact that maybe he might be getting played a bit further higher than what he wants to be. But
yeah,
I think eventually he will be that midfielder, that Alonso or the Mascherano-esque midfielder that we've missed for years. Obviously, you know, Naby Keita happened last summer, didn't go through till this summer, so he's had a full season to improve his game and fit the style that Liverpool play. Shaqiri's played in the Premier League before, and obviously Alisson knows Firmino through international.
I think you're spot on. Like the French league, it is, everyone goes, oh, it's not the biggest in terms of competition.
It's a one-horse race, the French league.
But in terms of when you do look at the playing style, in terms of the Bundesliga and the Premier League, the Bundesliga is very physical and it's very demanding. So Naby, I don't think will have any. We've already seen against West Ham, he's slotted in very quick. But I think the French league is quite different from the Bundesliga in terms of the physicality and the speed. I think Fabinho, Klopp has not wanted to put Fabinho in, just be like, right, there you go. And if he had an absolute shocker, it wouldn't do his confidence the best.
I think it's a case of easing him in.
Yeah.
Sorry, a bit of a tongue twister.
It's I think Fabinho has talked about Jürgen over the last couple of weeks. Even Jürgen's very much trying to get used to very much his playing style, and Fabinho said himself he is getting used to the way in which Liverpool do play their football, because it's not completely different, but it's very much different contrasts in where he's come from Monaco to Liverpool in terms of the attacking and defensive, because he's been there for Monaco for ages, him and Bakayoko and all that, but it's just adapting his game, isn't it, mate?
Do you want to move on to the next
point? We're going to the next one.
I've got a point down about transfer window. Obviously talk about it first being closed, and whether that should be extended, and then we'll talk about potential players leaving. Do you think it's short at the right time?
Everyone, let us know your thoughts on the transfer window. Obviously, before we come on, there's been a big hoo-ha in terms of Premier League teams. Everyone, was it 17 out of 20 agreed?
I think it was, when they said it on deadline day, it was 14 out of the 20. That's obviously the 3 promoted teams, not including the 3 relegated
agreed
teams.
With the window shutting now at this current stage.
But I think now a lot of them have changed their mind, especially, you know, Spurs and teams like that didn't do as much business as possible. You tend to get, obviously with it being a World Cup year as well, the players become more available towards the end of August rather than at the beginning, at the end of July and things like that. But yeah, I think if it's going to happen, you've got to change the January window as well, because it gives... Sorry, I've got like the hiccup.
That's right.
It gives players more of a chance in pre-season to impress, especially if they want to leave the club. Whereas if you come back from your final pre-season game, you've got 2 days before, I think it was this year, was it 2 days before the window shut? So we played Torino, didn't we, on the Tuesday night? The window
very
shut
much.
On Thursday.
Yeah.
So if you get an injury in that Torino game, you don't have enough time then for me. I think
it's the issue where, in terms of if you've got players getting touted by Barca's or your Bayerns or any big players that want,
you can't replace them then until January.
And if you've got an unhappy player after the transfer window, that could have been easily Liverpool. Whoever comes in, hopefully no one comes in. But I think Liverpool would have, and the rest of the Premier League have got a very strict policy. They would have said to every single one of their players, none of yous players that I want in my squad, from all the managers would have said to them, you're not going anywhere unless a ridiculous, and I mean a ridiculous amount of money comes in for you aren't leaving. And I think it'd be very stupid for the Premier League managers and even Jürgen Klopp to sell players when the window's shut. But for me, I'm happy. If I was a manager, and especially I've wanted it, I'd get your thoughts in a little second, mate. But I'm happy as a Premier League fan and as a Liverpool fan, because when the season starts, you want to get going. You don't want to be talking about transfers, do you? Like who's going, and who's coming in. It's good from a point of view of potential incomings, But if you've got another Phil Coutinho matter on your hands, you're like, really? Can I really be bothered? And you just want to get the football started, really, mate.
Yeah.
Are you so in terms of your thoughts, mate, on that?
When it was what it was, where it shut at the end of August or early September time, I was always like, why can't it just shut before the first game of the season? Yeah. But now it has shut before the first game of the season. I'm looking at it and going, as a fan's perspective and as obviously Jurgen's perspective, it's probably a good idea, but fingers crossed it doesn't happen. But if you get a player that gets a serious injury between now and the end of August, you've then got to wait, 5 months to replace him? Yeah. Where I think they should then, that's what is going to be a problem. Yeah. I think they need to look at it, the Premier League, and they need to come to some sort of solution. If they don't shut it after, before the first game, maybe shut it after the second game.
Yeah, just give that a week.
Give it a week then, and then obviously players can gel with their team. I think one of the reasons was last year was, obviously you've seen it with Chamberlain when we signed him on deadline day, but he was away of international duty. It doesn't give players enough time to gel with their team. That's part of the reason why it's moved forward. Yeah. But I do think moving on, this will come in with the next point in this point. Can that affect players going out then? Because you look at players that we've got in the club that'll be classed as what they class as deadwood.
Deadwood, yeah.
Players like Markovic, Mignolet potentially.
Grujic is a lot.
Grujic, Origi.
Ings has gone.
Ings has gone, yeah.
But I think from an outgoing point of view, I think if you're at any club, but mainly in Liverpool, when we talk about it, Jurgen would have very much told them, he was like, right, they'll very much know as footballers, they're like, the manager doesn't really fancy me, so I've got to go off. Their agents will be on the phone all summer, as they very much would do, mate. Yeah. But in terms of outgoing and deadwood players, I think that's very fine. It's when you start getting into your first team and the possible linked with it. And
if come end of August, when the French, the Spanish, the German window, things like that, all shut, and I think there's a squad, with what the FA have done now is obviously the window shutting early. They still got to name the squad on the same date. I think it was just like the 3rd of September or something. If you were to name that Liverpool squad and players like Markovic and that weren't in it, I'd be happy. Yes. Do you know what I mean? That's no disrespect to Markovic as a player. He's just he's not had his chance, and I don't think he will get a chance if he stays here and tries to fight.
I'd be very surprised if he's still at the football club. Markovic.
I'd be surprised if players like Markovic, Ojo potentially. Yeah. And Origi is still at the club come end of August.
Because you've still got to whittle that squad down, haven't you? If you look at our squads, even now, when you go into the deep down, into the actual player for player, you do need to chop some players out.
I think potentially we might need to keep Grujic. The reason is obviously with Chamberlain being out injured for the most of the season. We need that sort of midfield role where, like we were touching on before, with keepers, you'll have one that'll come in for cup games and one that'll come in for league and Champions League. You look at our midfield now, we'll have obviously, we'll start the weekend, you have Wijnaldum, Milner and Keita as the 3. When it comes to cup games, are you going to play one of them 3 all season?
Swap it out,
You'd swap it out, wouldn't you, and go Grujic, Henderson and Fabinho.
Or Ox even when he's fully fit as well. And Lallana. We've got so many options. Yay!
I wouldn't risk Lallana from the start. I think Lallana's more of an impact player. I think you've seen it last season when he started. Was it away at Bournemouth he started and he came off after about 10-15 minutes injured? Yeah. Which I think obviously was disappointing for Lallana himself, but he is an option now, Lallana.
It's great that we got options, but in terms of, to conclude on this, mate, if the Premier League and a lot of the Premier League clubs did go to the rest of Europe, but I don't think the rest of Europe would like it. Yeah. They hate the Premier League. But if somehow we could sway the thinking of the majority of the other foreign leagues to say, right, we've done this, can you do that exact date? I think you'd have everyone going, no chance. Yeah. As they're thinking about themselves. But if that is the case, and FIFA or UEFA or whoever sorts it out decide, no, it's got to be the same exact date like it was. Yeah. The Premier League has not got any special treatment, even though we do think that we have. Yeah. which would do generate the most amount of money. But I think in the long run, because we'll find out next season, if a lot of Premier League clubs, they might not make it public, but if you've got a bigger like clubs from outside of Europe, outside the Premier League coming in for your players, and you're a chairman and you're like, oh, so-and-so's unhappy, his agent's just being on the phone and that, it's going to cause a huge fraction in terms of the playing staff and everything.
I just hope that obviously some sort of agreement can be made with it, because I don't want to see in 3 or 4 years' time where the big clubs are coming out and going, we're going on strike or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it could lead to that if no agreement is made.
Yeah.
For whether it's just the Premier League in general or, like you said, a worldwide thing.
Yeah. Just to quickly touch on the Marco Grujic as well.
Yeah.
Just that's why my phone's going like mad. Sorry everyone if it's in the background. He's being linked to CSKA Moscow. Apparently his agent has informed them that they want him on loan. So if I want him to get game time, I don't want him being stuck in Liverpool and him not getting game time. I think there can be opportunities for him this season, but not the opportunities in which Marco wants. Yeah, because I would have loved him to have gone to Cardiff and played a whole season in the Premier League. Because I know there's a lot of people who've got the variety of opinions on Marco Grujic, but I love him. Not seeing a lot of him, but I've got something back in my head is saying he's going to be great at Liverpool. Eventually. I know he's 21, 22, around that age anyway, but the physicality of him, he's a big lad. He's a very big lad, and he offers something that Liverpool haven't got. He's like 6'3", 6'4", and he's won trophies at previous clubs when we signed him in Serbia and everything, but Serbian national as well. He's a big lad, and I hope it could be a case of just he's going to be a good player in the future, but not at Liverpool Football Club, and it'd be a real shame. But at the minute, everyone, like, by the looks of it, looking like he's very much going out on loan.
Yeah. That, like you said, could be a good move for him. I think he needs that full season loan spell somewhere, whether that be potentially in a Premier League club, obviously not this season, but maybe next season, or whether it is, like you said, going abroad. I do personally think he needs a full season away from the club, get his mind straight, get focused back on playing football and doing the job that he needs to do.
Yeah.
Should we move on to the next one?
Yeah, go ahead, mate.
Next one on the agenda, the title race. Who's in the race for top 4, relegation and the title? Yeah. I want your opinion first. So we'll do the title race. Is it a 2-horse race like everyone's saying, or do you think there's more?
I think so. Not being confident, cocky or anything, but I think Liverpool and City, when I think a lot of us, when we've been speaking on the channel with all subscribers and a lot of Liverpool fans, you look at the football in which we do play. Liverpool, we play the best. City and Liverpool do play the best football, hence why we were the only team in the Premier League to really beat them more than twice, all season. Really, if you can get at City, you can hurt them. But Liverpool last season actually showed we're possibly only one of the teams, apart from Wigan, that could actually beat them and very much come toe to toe with them. I can't see Chelsea doing anything. New manager, Arsenal got a new manager. I don't think anyone really expects anything from Arsenal this season.
Mourinho's in his
third season meltdown, as a lot of us have been saying and we've been speaking. Mourinho could surprise every single one of us. It wouldn't surprise me if it's a typical Mourinho. But if you look from an outside point of view into Manchester United, the fans aren't even happy anyway. Yeah, the football they play, as my mate said, Kyle, he's a Man United fan, it's absolutely disgusting to watch. Yeah. But I know football is a game in which comes down to results. Yeah. If Mourinho gets results and he wins the Premier League, I think a lot of Manchester United fans will be very much still want them out the door. Because Liverpool fans used to not admire Manchester United, but you'd respect them at least for the football in which he played. They had a manager and they had a lot of respect. We were fuming and a lot of us were angry at them winning trophies, but Fergie had a way of winning, and Liverpool and Man City have a way of winning. That's what they want. They are fuming. They have got Pep Guardiola. Man City, United fans are fuming, and they wanted Klopp. Didn't get him because he come to Liverpool. They wanted Guardiola. they want him, didn't come. And then they got the last option, in which Jose Mourinho, and his record speaks for himself, mate, doesn't it? Yeah. 3rd year meltdown.
He's done it at Chelsea, he's done it at Real Madrid.
Yeah, he's got a World Cup winner there as well, hasn't he? In Paul Pogba. Who was kicking off.
So, doesn't want to be at the club. I don't know whether that's just speculation.
Would you want to leave if your manager didn't get the best out of you and you've just come off the back of the World Cup? He's getting utilised very wrongly at Manchester United. It's horrible. It's not. We're loving it. But like, to be like, put a level-headed point of view, anyone.
We're obviously, like I said, we're loving it. But if we were in their shoes, if that was, fingers crossed, it doesn't happen. But if that was at Liverpool, how would you feel?
It's the quality of him, innit? Yeah. Paul Pogba, he's not really performed in the Premier League, but that's due to the way in which he's getting used as a player. We've seen at the World Cup, he had Kante, one of the world's best central defensive midfielder. So what does Mourinho do? Sticks him in a 4-4-2, makes him defend a lot more. Sometimes you've got to give players a lot more freedom. I know you might not defend as much as you want, but there is the odd exception, really, when managers have got to go, right, I'll let you off. And your teammates will probably let you off as well. Yeah. If you don't come back and track back, they'll understand because you're a game winner. Paul Pogba is very much a game winner for Manchester United. When he turns his football on, he will very much drive at teams, whip a ball in or something. But
the way that United play now is they play like a 4-2-3-1. So they play with the two holding.
Yeah.
Out of them two, one is allowed to venture forward and one's not.
He's just wasted there.
And I think that's where Mourinho gets it wrong, because every game, you see, Pogba's the one that's always told to stay back, and when it's attacking wise, whether it's Herrera, Matic, or Fred, they tend not to create that many chances because they haven't got the creativity of Pogba there.
Yeah.
So then when they have to come back to Pogba, he's then out of position, they lose the ball, things like that. But
so that was Man United.
Chelsea. I can see Chelsea pushing Liverpool and City until about January, February, and then I see them dropping. I think the Chelsea have the squad to...
I think everyone forgets what Chelsea's team is. They're a title-winning team, regardless. Before City, they won the league title. They got a very good Chelsea, and they've sort of Kante. They've got...
But do Chelsea have the squad to compete all season if they get injuries?
They're not playing Champions League football, are they? Though?
No, they got Europa League. Yeah. But if they're having to play their big players in Europa League, can't affect their league form.
It's the way in which what I'm going to be most interested in, and I think a lot of us from being Liverpool fans, is when you look at how they're going to come to the Premier League. Sarri is very much an attacking coach. Yeah. Something very different compared to what Chelsea have had in the past. Yeah. Conte and Mourinho, Conte wasn't ultimately defensive, but he was quite a reserved manager in terms of attacking. But Sarri, he, from what he done at Napoli, he had one of the best attacking teams in Napoli, the way in which he played. Jorginho, I think he's going to be a fantastic signing for them. He brought in Kovacic from Real Madrid. They got Kante in that midfield as well. You've got those three in midfield. Yeah. One of the strongest Premier League midfielders going.
One of the points though that could go against them, have they overspent on a keeper? Do you think he's not? I suppose you could say we've got the same point with Alisson, but have Chelsea overspent on Kepa?
I don't think so.
Is he proven in like the Champions League though? Is he proven in big games? He played for Bilbao.
There's been some footage come out on YouTube, as you would with every player, like even with Leno when they signed him. There's always some dodgy footage with every goalie, even with Alisson. But I think he's got the highlights from what I've seen. He's very quick. Yeah. He's a Spanish second or third choice anyway.
He's third choice.
Yeah, I think everyone was just taking a mickey saying Pepe Reina's in front of him anyway. Yeah. But I think he'll be a good choice. But they've let go one of the Premier League's best goalkeepers in Courtois. 35 million for Real Madrid. I think that's an absolute bargain.
Yeah, that's where I think that they'll struggle as well, because
David Luiz as well, defensively.
Yeah, David Luiz. You've got players in front of you like David Luiz, Gary Cahill potentially, who make mistakes. And when they had Courtois there, they could always rely on Courtois.
Yeah.
with it being a different league, if you've got someone like David Luiz who makes mistakes, who can be silly, can you, what's it called? Can you play under the pressure?
Yeah.
Can you perform under that pressure?
It'll be interesting.
Are
we even going to talk about Arsenal?
Well, talk on it briefly.
Yeah.
Because I think if we spend too much on Arsenal fan TV, we might kick off.
Yeah, I'd love to be on Arsenal. We'll be in the boys anyway. That's a dream to be on. They're probably all decent, like.
I think they could potentially push for top 4.
Yeah.
But I think it might be out of...
Be a bit too much, won't it?
A bit too much too soon. I think it all depends on where they are come January, February, and if they reinvest in January.
Yeah, it's always that defence you look at Arsenal. Yeah. They seem to be so slow as well, don't they, mate?
It used to be like what we were. Attacking wise, we used to look brilliant.
Like a Ferrari going up front, and then...
We look like, garbage, but we've got our solution. We've bought Van Dijk, we bought Robertson, and we brought Trent in. And they're our solution. You look at Arsenal, they're still playing Koscielny, who's 33. They've got 30-year-old Socrates. I think they just need to look at it and just bring in the youth.
You very much do need to. Like, Maitland-Niles as well as a player.
You see Czech's mistake at the weekend.
Oh, yeah. But that's another thing we talked about, goalkeepers playing from the back. Everyone is jumping on his back and going, Petr Cech. Is he too old to learn? I think he is.
Yeah.
You're asking a 37, 35-year-old
goal. Yeah,
something ridiculous to start playing, something that he's never done in his career. I know goalkeepers should be able to learn, but Cech, just let Cech do what Cech does best, and that's save the ball. I think Cech would be a lot more frustrated. I know a new manager's coming with a new philosophy, but I'd be looking at a manager and be like, really? But to do it against Manchester City twice, you got smashed by them in the Community Shield, and yet you try and play round the back against Man City. Man City are the kings of the press, like Liverpool. There's not a pressurize you, and that's exactly what City done. They put Cech under pressure because they know, for exact fact, he can't play round the back. It's basics of football, isn't it, mate? It's...
Just touching on the Spurs, I think they're going to be in for a tough season.
They've got a very good squad, though, haven't they?
They've got a good squad, but they've not reinvested. And this is, everyone says, all my mates and that, when I say this to them, they say what you said, they've got a very good squad, but you've got to think deeper on the line. They've got Champions League football, Premier League football, cup competitions.
It's what they prioritise, isn't it?
Their squad rotation, they've got, I think they should have made at least 2 or 3 signings. So if you get someone like Harry Kane injured, who've they got? If you get
Son up front,
if you've got Dele Alli injured, who've you got?
Definitely.
So I hope to God that they do, pip Arsenal to 4th spot, but I think it is going to be tough.
We're very difficult thing.
In order to 4th to 1st, who's your top 4?
Liverpool first, obviously. Not obviously, but it could go anyway this season. First, Liverpool. City, second. Chelsea, third. United, 10th. No, I think that 4th one's going to be madness.
Yeah.
Because it could be anyone. Like 3rd or 4th. I think it's so many good teams in the Premier League. Yeah. Right, got to say in it, someone. Spurs. Yeah.
Do you think United will miss out?
I think United are going to go boil, completely lose it January, even before January, I think.
I think Liverpool fans are hoping for a David Moyes type season for them, aren't they?
Yeah, the longer Mourinho stays at Manchester United, good. But especially when he doesn't win out.
We'll touch on the relegation.
Is there any more that we can just skip through the relegation? You want to just skip the relegation, mate?
No worries.
Relegation.
Just briefly on the managerial sack race as such.
Quickly on that. Yeah, I think, as you've probably already guessed, I think Mourinho will be the first to get the chop.
Mourinho's a favourite at the moment, I think, followed by Mark Hughes at Southampton.
I'm surprised Southampton, very much, Mark. I'm surprised he even actually stayed at a football club, but how poor Southampton played. They were so lucky, and if they don't sort something out, they got rid of Tadic, which I thought was absolutely ridiculous. I think I've seen him turn up at someone, I don't know where he's gone to, but a random club. He was their possibly best player last season, and the one player you look to, a bit of creativity. So I think if they do find themselves in the in the bottom three come next 2 or 3 months, he'll be very much the first manager gone. Mourinho, we never know. I think
if he carries on the way he is, I think, because I think United fans are even getting annoyed at the fact of him just constantly digging.
It's just the little things. He'll start kicking off on his players. He'll start kicking off on the press. He's already having constant digs at Liverpool, City, Tottenham. It'd be all the managers know Mourinho inside out.
Soon he'll be having digs at himself.
Yeah, but what I loved was the when he got beat out by Seville. He was like, United have never got up to these positions, and he went into an absolute meltdown. Yeah. And even looking from outside, you might go, laugh and joke, but that could easily be Liverpool or something. But they're getting beat by Seville. The way in which they played their football, it's Seville. No discredit to Seville. We struggled. We got beaten in the Europa League final, but it's the Champions League. It's Manchester United you're talking about there. And if Liverpool were getting beat by Seville in the knockouts, I'd be fuming. I'd be absolutely fuming. But it was the way in which they attempted to win. At home, they got beat 2-0. His style and tactics are not what a Manchester United manager should be. So I think him and Mark Hughes, possibly Brighton, Chrissy Hughton. Yeah. I think potentially, depends on how his go.
Potentially David Wagner from Huddersfield.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's too much expectation on Huddersfield. I think there's too much expectation on Huddersfield to stay up again. And I think, obviously, if they do stay up...
If they stay up another season, that's going to be amazing from them.
But I think if they start struggling now, and if they go on like a 10-15 game run where they don't win a single game, he could well be the first out the door.
Yeah, so we're going with them, mate. And then, obviously, to conclude on the show, everyone, absolute legends, if you're listening up till this point, we'll talk about the final question, I think, which we've been speaking to from a lot of Liverpool fans. If Liverpool is winning a trophy, Liverpool's main priority this season, but if we don't win a trophy, is it deemed not a success for you?
I think...
And everyone else, let me know in the comment section below.
Obviously, when we got top 4 a couple of years back, everyone was buzzing. The hype was there. But I think last season, everyone thought, we're back up there now. We should be competing for trophies. Obviously, last season, we went to Kiev.
We didn't expect that at all.
We weren't expecting that. We were expecting top 4 push.
I
think this season, you look at the squad we've got, the players we've got, we should easily be challenging for the Premier League title. But I think you've got to look at it, and if I'm Jurgen Klopp, I'd take one of the domestic cups seriously, because the way that obviously Mourinho and Guardiola done it at City and United, they won the League Cup to kick off their trophy reign. I think if you can win one, then we can go on and win the lot.
Yeah, it's getting that winning mentality into the club. But I think
is it 3 finals we've been to under Klopp and we've lost all 3 of them?
And that's always going to be the case until Jurgen wins us a trophy. That's going to be labelled at him 24/7.
Yeah.
We as fans can see the improvement on the pitch, but at the end of the day, trophy cabinet is the thing that's going to be most important. But Jurgen, it's dependent how if we come off 1 point away from winning a league title and we've went absolutely full on
and not
won anything really, I think Liverpool fans we can be like, we'd be fuming that we've lost out by 1 point, but we've been up there consistently. Yeah. Last season was an absolute joke, I think, from every single fan in the Premier League, because City were like, just like battering everyone.
They dropped 14 points all season.
I don't want it to be a boring Premier League really this season, but I think, as you said then, mate, I think winning FA Cup or League Cup, getting top 3, top 2,
top 2,
challenging in the league as well.
Yeah.
And getting to the semi-finals at least in the Champions League, that'd be a fantastic season.
Yeah.
But hopefully it's Premier League, Champions League, and an absolute quadruple. Yeah, boy!
Hopefully it is the quadruple.
That would be lovely.
Scenes in Liverpool if we win the quadruple.
Yeah, lad. I think everyone around the world, in Australia, where you're all listening in America, would come to Liverpool, and everyone...
I think there'd be like a Merseyside bank holiday just for the fact that...
Bank holiday, whole month, mate, I think.
Yeah. All the bars and clubs around here would be dry.
Yeah. Because even we seen it in the Champions League when we won in 2005, there was millions of people that come to Liverpool, didn't they?
I think that, to this day, is still the biggest homecoming in the Champions League.
Yeah.
because no one, like, we obviously filled the streets out, but we didn't just fill the streets out, we filled building and building. You see people on top of all the buildings and everything.
Seeing that trophy in it, mate. But I think everyone, thank you very much for listening. Jay, absolute legend, thank you for coming on. Definitely get it on whenever you can, mate. But everyone, this will be a weekly touch wood, fingers crossed. As long as everyone gets on. It could be Jay, it could be a Jack. There's going to be a whole host of people anyway, but going to be getting a lot of Skype people as well. So leave your comments in the comment section below for next week's show.
Leave your predictions on the top 4. Who you think's going to win the league as well?
Yeah, on all the stories, get involved in them.
Just a quick one. Do you think De Bruyne being injured will be an effect for Manchester City? Leave your comments in the section below.
Oh yeah, we've got to quickly touching on that before we go. If no one's aware, he's got a knee injury and he's looking like at least 2 months out. Yeah. Huge impact for Manchester City, huge impact on my fantasy football, and your one, and every single one of us. So that's fuming, but as long as you don't have to play against them. But it's frustrating to see good players in the Premier League get injured. You want to see the best.
It's frustrating, but at the same time, being a Liverpool fan, it's exciting because if City,
he's such a key player for Manchester City. But you look at their team; they've got so many good quality players, haven't they?
If they go on a bit of a run now, though, where they start slipping up because they've not got De Bruyne, we need to capitalise on.
Yeah, because as I said to you before, mate, before we come on, that could easily be in Salah. It could be future towards. Could be any one of our players. It's not good to see. I wouldn't wish it upon anyone. But nice one for coming on, mate. Thank you very much, everyone, for taking the time out to listen to the podcast. Hopefully, you have all enjoyed it. I've really loved doing it. I'm going to be making it definitely.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, nice one, lad. But we'll get a lot of views and more Jay as well on the channel. But get involved in all the stories, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. And if you like this content, make sure you drop a subscribe. Put your notifications on as well, and drop a like on the video. Really does I really do appreciate it, everyone, if you're enjoying it. But yeah, everyone, I'll see you tomorrow, and we'll see you Wednesday as well. Hopefully, mate. Whatever we sort, we can pre-record it, can't we? But yeah, thank you very much, everyone, and you'll never walk alone. Cheers out, everyone. Say bye, Jay.
Bye.